I'm in recovery. I make no bones about that. And this paradigm of recovering the way is a paradigm that weaves together different healing modalities. And it heals together scientific research, the body of knowledge, and that's available in Western world and Western literature, which includes the incredible body of research and that's been done on the brain, on the body, on neurotransmitters, on chemistry, and then the internal self-reflective parts of what is this 12-step paradigm, which is actually noticing, finding the addictive parts in us, finding why we do it, and marrying that up. And a perfect tool for that is this Oriental medicine, which at its heart is very, very simple. And when I spoke about those different, is it moving or is it slow? Is it up or is it down? Is it inside or is it outside? All of that presupposes that there is an observer, okay? And it is the observer that is key to all of this, because without the observer looking, well, there is really no up or down or in or out or above or below. So taking the time to drop what's out there and look in here is really what we do. And it's pretty funny that what we're using what's out there, meaning this new medium that we have, to look inside. And that's perfectly okay. So I looked on the computer this morning. We're going to start to get moving in a minute, and I welcome those that are joining. And I looked on the computer this morning under addictive, and under addictive tendencies, or the possibility of addicted, for example, to the computer or to the internet or to modern communication. And a couple of different things came up. Some of them are like obvious and some of them are maybe not so obvious. Carpal tunnel syndrome, eye strain, blurred vision. And there's a human tendency to look at train wrecks. That's something that humans do. And then there's also part of it which is something that occurs with gamblers. And what happens with gamblers is that they have lost and lost and lost so many times that they believe that the pot of what is available to win with, okay, that their chances are getting greater and greater to win with each loss. Okay? And then there's just a little question, is some of that triggered in all of us? Okay? And maybe, some of us more than others, but if it is, the first step in the recovery paradigm is that we admitted that we were powerless over whatever it is, and that our lives had become unmanageable. And we may say, well, I'm not powerless over it. I can walk away, and that's fine. But we might say, how about connected, intuited, realized, had a moment of clarity. And it's not the only aspect, but it's a very, very big part of our lives. So I'm saying let's just use that as an example. So in recovering the way, what we're going to do is we're going to take a lot of the stuff that's out there, and it's our everyday lives that we cognate with and we work with, and we need it, and it's not bad. It's part of what we are and what we do. But what we're going to do is we're going to leave it alone and put it down for a little while, and we're going to change our focus for an hour, for a minute, for a day. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our focus from looking what's out there to looking what's in here. And we're going to use some of these tools which come from recovering the way, some of the tools and the principles that come from recovery, some of the tools of Oriental medicine, and some information from science to weave this kind of together. Sense the temperature of the room on your fingers. Just sense that. And sense the feeling of the floor under your feet. And sense the temperature of the room above your head. Now, if you're ever so lucky to have no hair on the top of your head like me, see, I can sense the temperature of the room very easily on the top of my head. But if that's okay, feel it on your ears. Even that's okay. So right away, what we're going to do here, what's obvious is we're going to stop looking out there at everything. And I know you're looking at the screen, and that's fine. Don't even look too hard. You can actually just listen, because there's nothing here that we're really going to be doing that is so difficult that you can't even close your eyes and notice. So take a feel of your fingers. And what I'm going to ask you to do is take just the pinky. Take one pinky, either your left hand or your right hand, and notice the feeling at the very end of the finger. There's an area there, right under the nail bed. You know, when we clip our nails, there's no sensation. But that is the home of the most tender, sensitive skin in the world under the nail bed, if you ever get anything caught under there. So here we're going to just take a little focus, and this is what we do in Qigong, and we're just going to use a little short trick here. What I want you to do is focus on that soft, fleshy, pulpy skin under the nail bed. Just take a moment and sense it. You will be able to. Just stay with it for a moment. Relaxing the hand. Sense that soft, fleshy, pulpy skin. And as if it's a muscle, as if it were even just a muscle, relax it. Relax it. Like you relax a muscle, like you relax your arm. And stay with that just for a moment, maybe then go to the ring finger and relax that soft, soft skin under the nail bed. And go to a toe. Pick a toe. The toe is a little distal, it's more distal, and there's not as much brain matter that really focuses on the sensorial aspect of the feet, but if you do it just for a moment, now when I do this, what happens is I start to notice that my breath slows down. I start to notice that there's a feeling of a flushing, a feeling of a whoosh that starts to go on. And what we're actually doing is we are triggering the onset of what is called the parasympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system. We're giving our body cues to trigger the autonomic and to tune down the sympathetic. So the parasympathetic is the part of the body that is in charge of rest, of relaxation, of digestion, of love, of expansiveness, of quiet, as opposed to the sympathetic chain, which is based on adrenaline. Now, this is kind of tricking ourselves because we are tricking ourselves into quiet while the mind is actually really, really moving. And we are now going to move. What we're going to do is take our hands and we're going to turn them palm forward. And this is going to be a very, very simple, we've done this many times, but for the newcomers, just watch, simple, come along, bring our hands up to about mid-chest height, and then let them come down. Now, for those of us who maybe have thought about, and then we're going to come back up doing Tai Chi and say, well, that's way too difficult. Don't worry. This is as tough as this move gets. So I spoke about these combination of opposites in the very beginning. That up and down share a continuum. In and out share a continuum. Right? Moving and stillness share a continuum, right? So there is the beginning of the sunrise. There is the increase of the sun. There is the apex. There is the beginning of decline. And there is the end of decline. The seasons, there is the beginning of the year, Chinese New Year now, the very beginning where things have a spark, they grow in the springtime, they reach the apex in the summer, and then they start to decline. The breath itself. There is the onset of the breath, the increase of the breath, apex, decline, and end. And we might say, okay, Dan, well, yeah, that's fine. That's like so plainly obvious. What do you need to tell us that for? Well, I need to tell us and I need to tell myself because I can get stuck in the up. I can get stuck in the move. I can get stuck in the do, and I can get stuck in the turbulent and forgetting that there is a still, forgetting that there is a place for us to stop.